Hello everyone. You are watching HackerTV, the official podcast channel of AceHack 5.0. And इस बार AceHack लौटा है अपने 5th edition के साथ, bringing together innovation, execution, and real-world problem solving on one platform. Dates already announced हो चुके हैं and registrations start हो चुकी है. So stay tuned for more updates. I'm your host, Jayati Shri. Hello, everyone. And today, we are bringing you watching HackerTV from the official podcast innovation behind the scenes. Our incredible mentors. Mentors are not just judges or guides. They are industry builders, problem solvers, and visionaries. And today, we are diving into their journeys, perspectives, and advice for the next generation of hackers. Joining us today is Mr. Soumen Paul. He is a software development engineer at Blinkit, specializing in native Android development and scalable mobile systems. Previously, he has worked with top fintech and esports startups like Jar and Router, contributing to core platform and architecture level work. He has also served as a hackathon judge and mentor and led teams to victories in 15 plus national level hackathons as a team lead. He loves building high impact products, performance optimization, and mentoring developers. Hi Soumen, hope you are doing great.
Hi, Yati. Hi. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Great. So let's start from beginning. How did you first get into Android development?
I think the journey to enter the Android development has been pretty long. I was coming into a tier 3 college in somewhere resided in Ghaziabad, Delhi NCR. So I was knowing this fact that I had to do something on my own because it is a tier 3 college kind of a thing. And it's not a tier 1 college where you would be getting a lot of companies coming into campus and offering you the job offers. So initially, I just went into the another tech stack. I just started exploring domains like what is web development, what is backend, and what is Android. And Android at time it was very new. I think it was 2020 when I was starting the Android development, and the bubble was still starting of app development. There were some applications. There were Ola, Zomato was still existing, but they were not booming at that time because the COVID era has started kicking in. And then I started figuring out that Android is something where you will have the ownership of building your own apps. So it just that I am able to see the UI, I'm able to code it. So it just seems to be exciting at that point of a time. So then the journey started from there itself. And then there was few communities in my college where there were some domains where they were used to teach some Android development also after our college hours. So that's a peer-to-peer learning kind of a thing that was started into my college also. And then the journey began. Like, okay, I can build my own application, and then the journey has been continued.
Okay, great. Great to hear that. And like like when you are when you're from a not from a tier 1 or tier 2 colleges, you have to really think that what to do and how to do. You don't get a everything on plate and just go for it, right?
Exactly.
Interesting. So you have worked in fintech, esports, and now quick commerce at Blinkit, right? So when you think back to your early days, what were some mistakes जो आपने किए थे जो आपको रियली एज अ डेवलपर अगर आप मतलब नहीं करते तो ज्यादा बेटर रहता, बट आप अगर किए तो आप उसको चेंज करना चाहो?
I think in my initial days of my college, when I was doing app development, Android development, I was more into the basics, fundamental things. I was not deep diving into the topics a lot. Like I was knowing that how to build an application, but I was knowing how to build an app that can be scaled to the millions of users. So एक डिफरेंस रहता है कि अगर आप एक ऐप बनाते हैं और वो एक प्रोटोटाइप के लिए ऐप बना रहे हो, तो वो एक बहुत डिफरेंट चीज़ से आप कोडिंग करते हो। उसकी आपकी जो मेंटालिटी और जो मेथड्स आप यूज़ करते हैं कोडिंग करने के लिए वो अलग होते हैं। लेकिन आप प्रोडक्शन लेवल ऐप जब देखते हो, जब आप जब आप स्केल के लिए ऐप बनाते हो, तो उसमें आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन्स बहुत फॉलो होते हैं। सो इट्स अ होल न्यू डिफरेंट थिंग। सो I spent a lot of my time in coding just fundamentals instead of going into the internals of those kind of things. Like as soon as I started giving interviews, I got to know that there's something is missing into my tech stack, and then I started deep diving into the internals also. So it's always good to ask two questions: why and how. Like
Hmm.
whenever you are using something in Android or maybe in any tech stack, you should be knowing like why and how. Like why am I using it and how is it being replacing to the another tech stack? So initially Android development was being introduced in Java, and then it gradually shifted to Kotlin. So when it shifted to Kotlin, nobody was asking that why Kotlin and how Kotlin. So this question needs to be answered again and again. So I think initial 3 years I was into very fundamentals because I was attending a lot of hackathons. I was building a lot of prototypes, but it was not into a production level code. That as soon as I entered my final year, then I started my internship. Then I actually kicked into the production level kind of a thing, and then those mistakes kind of rectified at that point of time. So my advice would be the same, like try understanding why and how and keep questioning, like why are you using it and how are you using this.
Great, great. And I'm glad like you mentioned the point why and how. Even like everyone told this, but they don't follow it. Like, okay,
Right.
I know we have to do that, but yeah, okay, don't follow. It's very good that if we follow that thing and to put that in our life is very important. Great. So moving forward, for someone who is just starting Android development, like in 2026, what would be a realistic roadmap look like? Like what should they focus on early? What can we do on later side?
I think nowadays everything has been exposed in internet, and this is a kind of an pre-AI era. AI has not been have entered fully yet. At my time, there was no AI. At the point of time, I was still hunting out in Stack Overflow to understand what my errors are, what my exceptions are. It was a hell kind of a thing at that point of time. But it's super easy to start something as tough as Android development nowadays. There is no perfect roadmap into this. There's no perfect roadmap in any tech stack, specifically in app development. The first roadmap that I can tell is that just start building applications and start building your own things. Once you can't code it, then you won't be able to understand what you're coding it.
Hmm.
I think Android is pushing their all of their codes in Jetpack Compose nowadays. So whenever you are opening a project in Android Studio, you would having a template in Compose already. So start understanding Compose, start understanding what Compose is, what views were initially, because the developers who are coming in these kind of eras, they don't know how view systems work, and they are totally in Compose. That is totally fine for them also, because the Android and the Google teams are also pushing themselves into the Compose part. So I would say just try understanding what Compose is and try understanding why they've replaced Compose with the view systems also. And then you have AI, you have ChatGPT, you have Gemini, you have many other GPT tools. You can keep asking that why Compose, what Compose, and how many things we can do in Compose, and try building your own things. The first and the best thing is this: just start building your own app and you will get to learn in the pathway itself.
Great, great. And it actually clears a lot of things for someone who is starting an app development. Everyone thinks like we have to follow a perfect roadmap to do things, but yeah, it's not a we do every in any textile we don't have any perfect roadmap, right? We
Right,
have to be practical and we have to, instead of delaying things, we have to show up and we have to do things.
right.
Yes. So May, uh, you are working right now in Blinkit, and Blinkit is a dream company for a lot of developers.
Hmm.
So can you take us back how you cracked the SD role at Blinkit, like from preparation all the way to final offer? How you have done that?
There is no preparation as such while being in Blinkit, because earlier I was in Bangalore. I
Okay.
was in Jar earlier. That is a fintech based startup. We
Hmm.
were a platform where you can buy a digital gold out there. So I entered there as an SD intern. Then I was promoted to an SD1 in just span of 6 7 months, and then I promoted to an SD2 there. Then a span of almost 4 3 4 months. So
Hmm.
the journey was pretty fast. The journey, because it was a startup, it was a very early age startup. It was a seed B funded startup. So there were a lot of ownership out there. So I get to learn exponentially at that point of a time. And then I had a lot of connections around the way, because I was attending hackathons, I was attending events, I was having a lot of connections in other companies also. And
Hmm.
then there was no as such preparation, to be very honest. But yeah, the one preparation that you need to be do, that you need to know your skill sets well. You need to know Android internally well. You need to know the fundamentals well of Android. this is it, and this is it, and there's nothing more in preparation that you would be requiring. Yeah, a bit of DS is required also while going into these kind of companies. And then the few of the connections just kicked me into that message that there is kind of a hiring into our team. Would you like to join us? And I said, for sure not. Then I just went for the interview, and then the interview went well, and then that's it. So there's no as such roadmap while being in Blinkit. But yeah, if you wanted to go into these top companies of Android space or app spaces, you need to know Android internally. You need to know how mobile systems work, how Android OS as a works.
Mhm.
Because you just don't need to know how you are coding the UI. You just need to know how you are building something that scales to tier 3, tier 4 cities also. Because in Android OS, there is a wide range of devices.
Mhm.
There are devices with RAM 4 GB, 5 GB, 6 GB, 8 GB, 12 GB. So you need to code something that actually don't crashes in the lower end devices also. So you need to know the internal things, how Android OS works, how your app actually talks with your OS, and how things actually work, so the app doesn't crash well, the app doesn't hangs well. So you need to know some basic level of things, and then a bit of advanced level of things, and then you're good to go while going in Zomato, Blinkit kind of a thing.
Great, great. Like you mentioned, it's very important to have connections first of all. Uh, the more you get, the more you grow your network, the more you make connections, and uh, good connections actually matters a lot. And secondly, have a great skill set is also very important to know everything internally and out
Right, right.
in and out. It's very important. Great. So my next question to you is, you have led 15 plus national teams to hackathons as a lead, which is huge. So, what's your personal approach to building and leading a winning team?
I think the last hackathon that I attended, I was in fourth year, I guess, and
Hmm.
it was in Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. It was Charcha 2024. It was sponsored by Google India. That was my last hackathon. That was the 15th hackathon that, as far as I'm able to remember, and there were a lot of people coming from the corporate world also. So it was not a student hackathon. It was
Hmm.
actually a hackathon where there were a lot of actually early stage startups were also competing out there, and the last hackathon went out pretty well. We were the first runner up with 2.5 lakhs of cash prize money.
Great.
Coming to your question, that how did I build up this team? I think in the first 3, 4, and 5, 6 hackathons, we were failing miserably consecutively, and there were, I think, the rejections needs to be there. The first thing that I got to figure out that I don't need to do everything on my own. Hackathon is a game where it is a combination of hard skills and soft skills. Many don't understand this. Many understand this. It is a game of a technical event kind of a thing. I don't consider this as a tech event. I think it is a combination of hard skills and soft skills both.
Hmm.
But to know that I can't do everything on my own. I can't code, I can't pitch, I can't research, I can't do UI UX on my own. I can't do everything on my own. So I was doing the same. I was trying to do everything on my own, and then we were failing consecutively. Then I started picking up people from another domains. Okay, you are good into ML, you are good into augmented reality. I wanted to have you in my team. So I have started figuring out like what best I can do for the people, and what best I can actually have in myself also. So I started picking out people for every domain. I started having a guy from ML. I started having a girl who can pitch and research. I started having somebody from backend. I started having somebody from Android me. So that was the major key. I was building a team, they know their responsibilities well, and then we were hunger enough, and then we were brainstorming a lot. I think team plays a very crucial role, and then we were good in soft skills, and then the person who is actually good in hard skills and the soft skills both, it drives you a lot into a good hackathons. So I think the team plays a very crucial role, team building, and then the hard skills and soft skills. If you're able to build a hackathon but you're not able to pitch it in front of the judges or
Hmm.
or in front of the stakeholders, it gets difficult for them to understand their business also. So we were not building projects, we were trying to build a business with their proper business revenue model, and trying to understand them why it is a market fit kind of a thing. So it's almost like building something so you can pitch it into a Shark Tank, but it's not actually Shark Tank. So it is almost a similar way kind of thing that we were building things, and then we were consecutively won almost 12 to 15 hackathons into our college life.
Great, great. Actually, a teamwork is very important, and you can't do everything alone. Anyone can't do everything alone. We need a team that do certain roles, because after all, everything is time bound also. So we need a team that do everything. And rejection also plays a very big role, because once you get rejected, you know where you make the mistakes, and after that only you don't repeat that mistakes, and you go on a proper way, proper right path.
Right.
Right.
So we were knowing already that we were making mistakes in business models, we were making mistakes in revenue models, we were making some mistakes in the pitching part also. We needed to have somebody who can do a proper pitch kind of a thing. So we were rectifying mistakes one by one, and then there is no going back to lose any other hackathon.
Great. So mean a lot of teams have great ideas, but still they don't make it to that far, or they don't make it to finals. So from what you have seen in different hackathons, what's the most common reason hackathons team fail despite having a strong concept or strong idea? What's the common mistake they do and they fail?
I think the mistake, the very common mistake they do, they just build the prototype and it is some kind of a fancy AI thing that might have using AI API tools, and then
Mhm.
they're integrating it, then they're calling it their own AI kind of a tool, and that is their silly and the simplest mistake they do. You'll have to understand what the problem is. Like identification of the problem is the very basic and the very key thing, primary thing to understand, and to understand the hackathon purpose also. If you don't have a particular problem, if you don't have a very right problem, you are not able to solve it rightfully, and then whatever you're building, it just goes into the vein. So the basic thing I always, whenever I mentor a judge students, I simply ask them if the problem is actually valid or not, and if you have actually done a good amount of research or not. If there are existing markets into the solution, then why your solution is going to be existing into this market, what is the USP of the solution. So they don't think of this way, like this is actually a solution that is going to the market, and how are
Mhm.
you able to counter it with other competitors. So the initially is to understand that you are building a product, you are not building a project, you are not building an app and websites, ML models, they're just more of like a bridges that we are actually trying to solve it. The actual solution is the whole product that we're building it, and it comes with a lot of research, problem identification, solution identification, and brainstorming, and then you understand, okay, we need to build an app and this needs to be done. So these kind of mistakes are very usual nowadays.
Yes, and that actually makes a lot of sense, because I have also seen a lot of teams. Uh, they just they just type on ChatGPT or something like, okay, we need to make a project or something like this, and then they just copy paste the code and just show the prototype. It doesn't work like that, of course. And I have also heard from a lot that we need to do a lot of research. Not a lot, but still we need to do a research kind of thing to to understand the idea or to understand the concept, and then go forward with the
Rightfully,
team.
because when we were in Smart India Hackathon 2022, when we have won that,
Mm.
I think that solution that we presented to the government of India, they declared as the winner for that particular problem statement, and they actually called us to Shastri Bhavan multiple times for the knowledge transfer kind of a thing. Because you actually need to knowledge transfer it, because they need to build this product by their own engineers. So we actually did everything. We actually explained them everything, and then the market actually they actually released that product into the market. So the research plays a very crucial role in these kind of things. Specifically, when we were in the last hackathon of Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, there were some angel investors out there. They were also very interested and to understand why this product will be the market fit, and they were ready to offer some kind of a pre-seed money at that point of the time also. So hackathons are the finest way also, if you're starting something from your own, if you wanted to have your own venture kind of a thing, your own startup kind of a thing, I think it's the perfect place where you can start something in hackathon and do proper research, do proper problem identification, and then solve it to the core, and then pitch it to the people. It is not only student running hackathon. I think you would be finding some good stakeholders in between of
Hmm.
them also, and maybe your luck kicks in and they are ready to fund your idea at that time itself.
Great. And I'm sure everyone who is watching this podcast will understand that we need to do a research. Just coming with a mindset that I will do AI and I will make something, that does not make you last or to the finals or anything else. That doesn't even make you experience of doing such things. When real or industry level problems come, you need to in you need to do research and put your ideas. Great.
Right.
So main, you are mentoring teams at hackathons. So what's the earliest sign that makes you think, okay, this team is onto something, or yeah, okay, this team is doing great, and this can you feels like, okay, this team is doing great. What's the one thing you hear or you see on that team and you feel,
Like, uh, can you just repeat the question again?
या श्योर आई मीन ऐसी कौन सी चीज है जो आप टीम्स में देखते हैं? काफी ज्यादा आपने मेंटर्स किया हैकाथॉन्स को भी,
Mhm.
तो ऐसे टीम्स को देख के आपको फील आता है, ओके दिस टीम इज डूइंग ग्रेट. इट
Mhm.
कैन बी मोर ग्रेट इफ आई से समथिंग, इफ आई गिव एडवाइस. तो आपको ऐसा, वो टीम्स ऐसा क्या कर रही होती है जो आपको ऐसा फील आता है कि यार दिस टीम इज डूइंग ग्रेट, दिस टीम इज एक्चुअली डूइंग सम great thing and can go into finals?
I think the early signs that I get usually is to understand the product first. Whenever they started explaining the project, it seems to be not a very common app or website where they're using any simple APIs kind of a thing. I know that they have done the research, they have done good amount of research, and they are actually trying to solve a real problem. That is a very early sign that I get in. And when I see into the code, when I see into the research, they have actually read a lot of research papers into the market from the marketplace. They have actually trying to train their data to a different from data sets. They're trying to gather feedbacks from different mentors, not from me, but from different judges, different mentors, different
Hmm.
professors. And then they're trying to understand if this product is a market fit or not. This is the very early, and this is a very, very good sign to understand that this particular project would be going into the finals. And not only finals, if this project kicks in into the as a startup also in our country, that will definitely do well into our country also. So yeah, these are the very early signs I get whenever I try to mentor or judge somebody.
Okay, great. Actually, from mentor side, I have like done few podcasts. So as I have heard from a mentor side, it's very important you show up to the mentor that okay, I am doing this, and have done this sort of research, and have done this things, and to take the feedback and apply it to the project. This also helps a lot.
A lot.
So means sometimes teams are technically strong but unsure about the problems or scopes. How do you usually help such teams regain clarity and move into the right direction? Like, आप कैसे teams को वापस से motivate कर पाते हो कि okay, you are doing great. You just need to be a little more clear about the things, and you can take this part, and you will be very great to this if you move forward.
I think sometimes whenever they start building their own solutions, they are more into technical kind of things. They just wanted to get things done in terms of prototype. I just say them, it is not only the hard skills, or it is not only prototype that will get you along the way into the finals, or that will get you the victory point. It is not only prototype, it is also your presentation, it is also your pitching, it is also your facts and figures. When you are actually solving something, then you're actually trying to explain something to the judge, to a mentor, it is very initial, it is very vital to let them know the figures also, like what are the current figures of the problem statement and how the figures will be impacted. So I usually tell them that don't be too technical. You guys are doing good. You guys are solving a very good problem. But try to understand that you need to pitch it to an investor, to a judge, to a mentor, like a way that actually the solution would make an impact in the future also. So try focusing on a bit of presentation also. Try focusing on a bit of pitch also. Like how would you pitch it? Like at what sentences would be there? Like there should be some taglines into your pitch. Like how would you starting it up? How would you making it up into the till the end? How would you counter your Q&A questions? So these are the very basic and very vital points. Like you're building the prototype is just 30% of your hackathon, and 70% of your hackathon leads into your pitch, presentation, hard skills,
Hmm.
soft skills, and understanding how can you actually build those taglines and how can you actually counter those Q&A questions. So my basic advice has always been the same: to okay, you guys are doing good. Let's focus a bit more on the presentation part. Let's gather some taglines. Let's gather some figures. Let's gather some current market fit competitors, and try understanding and try pitching it to them why your solution is the best, and try adding some USP and business revenue models also into it.
Great, great. Uh, Presentation actually matters a lot, and how well you pitch, how will you present your idea. That needs to be clear in any team or any teams team member who is going to pitch. It need to be picture perfect that okay, this is the thing. And it's very important when you present your presentation. There should be the numbers on it, like how much is the scope of it and how can we grow.
and
Great.
and I won't say it should be a more of textual kind of a thing. You can include videos, you can include 3D
Hmm.
assets, you can include your own application or websites videos also. So what we were doing when we were used to present, we were actually showing them a whole different movie to them, and there
Hmm.
was a pitcher who was actually pitching everything to them, so they never required to need to see the prototype itself. We were actually merging the prototype with the presentation itself. So you can see in the canvas scene there's a one way in the one screen, half of the screen you are able to see the mobile app also, or there's some kind of a thing happening out there, and then you're actually explaining them why this particular feature is going to hamper everything into the marketplace. So it is not always about you need to you need to show prototype. You can actually merge a presentation prototype together and then you show it to the public, and then it actually saves a lot of time also, and it actually counters everything, and it actually let the other person understand your solution well, to be very known well.
Great. It's a very great idea. Like after hearing this, even I am thinking I am going to apply this on my next hackathon,
So sure,
merging the prototype with the presentation. Great.
you must.
So, main, from a judge point of view, what is the key difference between a project that's simply well built and ones that truly competition ready? Like, what's the key difference, or what's the difference that makes them two side? Like, okay, this project is a well built project, but this is a truly competition ready project.
I think the answer remains the same for these kind of questions. I'm building something. I think it is an app. I know I've built it, and I know that is an e-commerce kind of an app, and it does actually it acts as a platform for the sellers and buyers. But I don't have any business revenue model for this. I
Mm.
don't know if the application needs to be there or not in the marketplace, or there are a lot of e-commerce applications already there in India. So I need to understand what are the problems and are there in e-commerce sector. So this is just an example I'm taking on. So I don't have a revenue model. I don't have a problem. I don't have any problem identification. I don't have facts. I don't have figures. I don't have a pitch. I don't have a presentation. And I'm saying that I have an app. So there's nothing I can do with this application. It is just like your final year presentation project. So when you wanted to keep it to the when you wanted to keep it compatible to a particular competition, you need to tick these kind of things, and then build a team, and then go into these kind of communities and events, and then pitch it like your own product.
Great. So now to wrap up things, my last question to you is, Sumin, if you had to leave the Hacker TV audience with one principle that has consistently guided your career, what would it be?
I think it would be two words only: be hungry. Always. I think being hungry is something that drives me today itself. Because when you are actually going up into the ladders of your career, when
Hmm.
you got an internship, then you wanted to get this converted into full time, then SD1 to SD2, SD2 to SD3, the race never ends. It is always a race. It's kind of a race that never ends. You keep on chasing things up, and the chase can only happen when you are very hungry. Not hunger out of the money. Yeah, money is kind of a thing that is a very complimentary thing you get into the place, but you need to understand, you need to hungry of your own skill sets. So if I am an Android engineer, need to understand how Android works internally. I should be hungry of these kind of things. So whenever Google kicks in with their new frameworks of Android, I should be very excited and should be very insightful to them to understand why they are building it and what is actually they are solving it. So it is always about be hungry at every day, and while doing a job, you keep learning things, you keep learning books, not always good tech books you can learn on. You can keep learning articles, you can keep reading
Hmm.
articles, you can keep writing blogs into it, and keep connected with the ecosystem, how ecosystem is actually growing. Because today Android, maybe tomorrow Android bubble will be burst, and you might see me into a different role in tomorrow. So yeah, I think being hungry is the only thing that actually helps me to be there.
Great. And that's a really a very great note to end on. Be hungry.
Right.
Just have the hunger of everything. Like I have to do this, and hunger takes you to the next level. Even my father also say, just be hungry for things.
Right, right.
Be hunger to do each and everything like in which you are interested. Great.
Really.
So thank you, Somen, for taking the time to talk to us today. The way you shared your journey from building products to mentoring teams really shows that how growth in tech actually looks like. I'm sure all the audience who is watching this podcast will take some valuable hearings from this.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. To everyone watching, this was Hacker TV, powered by AceHack 5.0. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mentor insights, tech conversations, and hackathon stories. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep hacking smart. This is your host, Jayati Shri, signing off.